Hey, Derek, usually by this time of a season opener, you at least have some kind of film to look at of the opposing defense, what the coach does, but there's been none of that this year. Is it kind of remind you of playing college football in a season opener where you're kind of going in there a little bit blind?
Yeah, it reminds a lot of college or high school games where you didn't even have any film or didn't even really know who was on the team, kind of a thing. And so you just do your best. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go out there. We're going to do our best with the limited, resources we have. But I'm pretty sure we'll be ready to go. We'll make the adjustments that we need to make. But excited for week one.
Derek, I saw the comments you made yesterday when you talked about how what you guys have accomplished has been pretty awesome. As an outsider looking at the wins, the points, things like that, maybe we don't see it. What did you mean by that?
It doesn't really matter, Josh.
Hey, Derek, we've heard a lot about the other receivers, but not so much about Rico Gafford this year. What does he bring to the mix, and what strides has Rico made this year?
Yeah, Rico's been awesome, man. Just coming from cornerback to receiver, that's hard enough transition, just the technique of routes and getting in and out of breaks. And what's awesome about it is he looks like a receiver who never played corner, you know what I'm saying? And so just the way that he's been able to work on his game, it was a great job by our coaching staff just teaching him, how to make that switch. I've seen a lot of guys try it, especially in college, trying to find a position with athletes, and they just can't do it. It's been easy for Rico, and there's been some growing pains here and there, but he's someone that we can trust. We have trusted. You've seen him on the field, especially late in the season last year where he got a chance. Obviously he caught a wide open touchdown, but more than that, when he got in the game in Denver and the routes he was running and things like that, you could see the growth. You could see those things where, the details on certain coverages, the way he'd run the route, it's been really impressive. And you don't get to hear about him because of the new guys, but, we're going to definitely rely on him.
Hey, Derek, Scott Gilbranson from Raider Nation Radio. Obviously, the core guys return. You add some new elements to that offense. How different does it feel going into this opening weekend, aside from all the COVID stuff? What does it feel like for you heading into week one?
I'm sorry, what was the first part of that, Scott?
Oh, just you returned core, a lot of guys on offense, obviously core guys, add new pieces, but what's the feeling like for you going into week one this year versus previous years?
Yeah, we had a little, meeting with the players. We made a joke about, some of the guys that have been around for like the last 4 years, and I think there's only 4 guys on our team from a certain point we were talking about, which usually isn't a good recipe for success for you other guys. But I think that going into this game, it's really nice to have a core group of guys that have been together a while, and it's pretty much history. If you look back on the teams that stay together, they usually play well together.
Hey, Derek, Coach Gruden was talking about possessions and red zone as being 2 big factors for being an offense that just scores a lot more touchdowns. You talked about the red zone stuff before. When you look at it, what is it going to take for you guys to be that kind of team that scores like 25 points a game and gets a lot more touchdowns?
Yeah, well, I think if you look at how many games we had, if you take a deeper look and don't try and be surface about it, you see that the possessions and the amount of possessions we were able to score on and things like that, it's actually pretty impressive, for what we were able to, some of the games we were able to win. And so I think having more possessions, and then we bite ourselves in the foot with, how many times we weren't able to score inside the 15-yard line, how many times it was a turnover, how many times we got stopped on downs, and you sit back and with the few possessions that we did have and the numbers there, if you want to take a deeper look, you see that, oh wow, they were still able to be a top 10, top 11 in certain areas, and they were still doing that with those scenarios. And so I think that for us to be better is we have to be even better on third down. We got to stay on the field more. We got to be able to punch the ball when we get in the red zone, there's got to be a killer instinct where we're not leaving without touchdowns. And especially, we can't leave the red zone with no points. And so field goals, are good, at times, but I really think, Jerry, we need to finish in the low red especially. There's a glaring weakness that we had last year that we've tried hard in training camp to work on.
Levi Edwards with Raiders.com. How you doing, Derek? On the other side of the line of scrimmage, you're going to be going to get up against a couple of talented young defensive ends such as Brian Burns. Can you just describe the confidence that you have in your healthy offensive line to pass protect, to make sure that you have time in the pocket?
Yeah, absolutely, Levi. In our division, we play some serious pass rushers, and it's been that way since my rookie year. And with our offensive line, I always feel confident. They see the best out of the best. Two times a year, multiple times a year. You see what I'm saying? Ingram, Bosa. You see Vaughn, Chubb. You see all these guys, these pass rushers, and I'm gonna stop there before I forget somebody and someone gets offended and they want to rip my head off. But and speaking of that, shout out to Von Miller. I'm praying for that man. I hope he's okay. I hope he gets a speedy recovery because he's a good dude and fun to compete against. But I have confidence in those guys, competing against those guys time and time again, that Brian's another really good player. He's another really good pass rusher that can wreck a game. He can change games, and so we got to have our antennas up and be ready for him because he's a really good football player.
Last two guys.
Hey, Derek, I was going to ask you about Vaughn, but you answered that question already. I want to ask you about the wide receiver core. Obviously, Ty Williams this year. How confident are you in your receivers right now with Ruggs, Zay, and everybody else?
I'm very confident. Those are my guys. That's who's on our team, and that's who we're going to bat with. That's who we've been equipped with, and we got all we need, and so we're ready to rock. It's week one, man. I'm just excited to play and get out there with those guys, Anthony. It's exciting time.
Hey, Derek. I know you guys have kind of been hearing. You guys have been dealing with those protocols throughout training camp so far, but it's your first time traveling for a game and, all the restrictions that come with that, with everything going on in the country right now. Just for you personally and just as a team, how are you guys feeling about, going into, I guess, the uncertainty of playing a road game in these circumstances?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what it looks like. We haven't done it yet, obviously. But, I do know what they have told us is, how safe it is, the strategies that they're taking, the plans they're taking, the precautions they're taking, what we have to do as we board, as when we get there, what we are allowed, what we're not allowed to do, all of those things. And so, I have family members, all in the South, that want to come to the game, and they can't obviously come to the game, and then I can't go to dinner with them on Friday night. I can't see them, and so it's just a different year. It is just a different year, but at the same time, we're just playing a game. I think like everybody on here, I think we all have hearts for people that are out of their jobs right now. I think there's way more important things than just the football, aspect of things. But hopefully we handle it the right way and do the right things. That way we can, maybe bring some joy to some people, while they sit there and watch their favorite teams play.
Last one, Vinny.
Derek, you're talking about all these young wide receivers, but Hunter Renfrow last year, as the year went on, showed that he could be a dynamic player with the ball in his hands. Do you feel like he's going to build on that? And are there, don't give away any secrets, obviously, but ways that you guys are going to be able to utilize him even more this year, knowing what he could do with the ball in his hands?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to earn that right, just like everybody, just like Darren Waller, just like Henry Ruggs, myself, Josh. We all got to earn our right every single day, and I think he's done a good job of being someone who's consistent. Dabo talks about him in some great ways, calls him Superman with a helmet on, all this kind of stuff, and you guys know he's a great player. But I think there's a difference between good and great, and he wants to take that next step. I think he wants to be someone we can rely on all the time, and he's got to earn that right, and I think he will. I have all the confidence in him. I think we'll probably put him in the backfield, and he'll play quarterback and run the triple option, this game. So we'll see how that goes for him.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.